Ashalom, good evening. This is Amuna Israel, and this is A Faithful Life. And it's a little bit of a different episode today. I had a beautiful Shabbat, been listening to some different people, and I hear some interesting stuff, and I wanted to just chime in a little bit. This episode is for the DOZ, or as they say, Daughters of Zion. And I will just implore us to, study, take our responsibility of studying. We have heads, you have husbands, you're in a household, you're in a congregation. We listen, we ask questions, and the Most High made it such a beautiful time that everybody has a Tanakh, everybody has a Bible, and everybody has access to certain information. Because I just want to say, in all honesty and truth, we have to be careful because in this return, we are broken people, males, females, and children alike. And what broken people tend to do is bend or twist information towards their benefit. It may not be directly to injure anybody, but what I'm seeing is that there is a level of oppressive mentality and a mentality of where that it is that because I have been on the bottom now, I'm going to look to subjugate or to minimize everyone else's role. And I think that's very dangerous in the realm of nation building and in the realm of really coming back to the Most High. And I'm the type of person who likes to go to the chapter and verse. So today I'm going to show you a little bit about how I study. And hopefully, this is an open discussion in the sense that if you have more information, we can definitely discuss it. I like to cross reference. I speak to my husband. I listen to different teachers, not because my thing is, I think that everyone has a piece of the puzzle. And in this return, because it is that no one can say, or I haven't come across anyone at this point who's going to say, thus save the Most High. That means a lot of us are leaning on our own understanding, and it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of diligence, and it takes studying and the ability to relearn or reanalyze certain things as we continue to grow. So today I'm just going to show you a little bit about how I study and share some of the resources with you. And once again, let me know, how it is that you study, and prayerfully we can all come to a understanding that is open to the Most High and what He has to say about the matter and what He has left on record through His servants. So hallelujah. Basically, we're gonna start today in Genesis. Genesis, as all they would say, Pt1. And I just want to say, I was listening to some of my Israelite brothers, and I'm like, oh, come on, we still talking to each other like this. We're still, hurting. Like, you hurt me, so now I'm gonna jam you up and I'm gonna use the scripture to twist and do all of this with you. And when I'm done, we're in religion. And it's about spirituality, it's about growth. And religion is what we're trying to master over one another so that we can have control over one another. But true spirituality and growth is that path and return to the Most High. So in Bereshit, Genesis 1, basically I'm going to talk about, because the topic I heard was the man and woman's relationship. And that has truthfully always been a question of what happened, what's going on, what is it supposed to be, what was it in the beginning. And so we're going to start in Bereshit, Genesis 1. And I have a little treat since I learned how to screenshot. So I'll be talking and you'll be seeing the screenshots. Okay, so here we're going to start. One moment. Okay, we're going to start at Genesis 1 and 26. And the whole point of this is just A, to share how I study, and B, to begin to take some, if we haven't already, because a lot of us women are being misled and misinformed, and I'm not sure if it's on purpose or through ignorance. However, the scriptures are not, as where it is not favorable, that part is kept in the dark, and where it is favorable, I notice that is brought to the light. And so because the Most High says, He prophesied that everybody's going to know Him from the least to the greatest. In some people's eyes, we're the least, and in other people's eyes, we're the greatest. Whatever the case may be, it is a personal responsibility, because we are the teachers of the children, the first teachers of the children, that we have to take some personal responsibility and be able to read and understand what we're reading with comprehension and be able to share that in love. So we're going to start at 1 and 26. And it says there that, and the Elohim said, let us make man in our image. That first word man right there, as you can see, I have underlined, it's Adam. the Aleph, the Dalet, and the Mem. I'm not a Hebrew scholar, but I can get around a little bit in the Hebrew. So I think it's very important when we're reading that the Hebrew, because once we come out of the Hebrew, which the text was written in, we get into all kind of discrepancies and things of that nature. So that human there, I took the liberty to look it up in the eastward, and the word again also is Adam, confirming what we read in the other part, and it gives you a breakdown of human being. I also looked up the word human being just in a regular dictionary, any individual of the genus Homo, especially a member of the species. So to my understanding, that man, that first man would include male and female. We're going to see as we skip on down to 1 and 27, it says, and he is creating Elohim, or so Elohim created man in his image. The word again is Ha-Adam, or the human. And in the image of Elohim, he created him male and female, and he created them. So as we can see, the talk that only the man was created in the image of the Most High, Genesis 1:27 says, male and female created he them. Both of them were created in the image of the Most High. And as we can read here, in this Adam, it's talking about the species, not the necessarily man or the masculine energy. It's the species of Adam, the masculine and the feminine energy. 28, and the Elohim blessed them, and he is saying to them to be fruitful and to multiply. That again substantiates that in Adam, what we're seeing here in 1 and 26 going down, male and female created he them. Okay, so this is just substantiating. I have all the stuff that I'm going to show you on the screen so that you can see it. And it went on to say that he created them in the image and the likeness. And when we look at 1 and 26, I have here the eastward image, and that word here is Selem, the Sadiq, the Lamed, and the Mem, for an unusual root meaning to shade or phantom, that is figuratively illusion or resemblance. So both the man and the woman were created in the resemblance. At this time, man and woman were in the whole identity of what the scripture so far is calling Adam. I'm only emphasizing that because I've heard some crazy stuff, and I'm not going to go into the fullness of it, but I'm quite sure all of us could testify that we have heard some, let's just say, variations. Now, this is not my variations. This is just what we're reading straight. And I took the liberty to look into some other words that we're seeing. The word likeness and image is not the same word. When we get to likeness, that word is the mu, the dominant, the mem, the wab, and the tet. And it means resemblance, concretely model, shape, what is this word? Adverbally, like, or to fashion like. Again, people can go off and get all different. We can go different ways with this. However, I'm just reading the text for what it is at this point, and I'm just trying to make a point that when we go through the text with a fine-tooth comb, some of this misnomers and some of this twisting can be alleviated without any guilt trips or guilt complexes, because we're only going by what the text is revealing. In 1 and 29, it is saying, and Elohim said, and I keep saying Elohim because that's what it says in the text. It doesn't say God. Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of tree yielding seed to you, it shall be for me. And I highlight the word lechem because of the little bit of Hebrew that I do know is that lechem is pluralized. Lakha is single for speaking to someone, and lechem is pluralized. The mem on the end, to my understanding, is plural. So again, the Elohim said, "Behold, I give to you," and that you is plural, meaning inside of Adam is both components, the male and the female, because a lot of times we just say, oh, see, Adam, that's talking about the male. Here, it's not only is the text saying male and female created he them, it also now is giving, it's conjugating words to show you that I'm talking about more than one inside of one. Like one would say you all, or, they. It's that kind of thing that's going on, to my understanding. And I have it here on the screen so you can take a look, and you so go also go in your books and take a look if you have Tanakhs, and take a look at it. So the point here is that male and female was in Adam. That male and female, masculine and feminine energy was in the being who they're speaking to, which is Adam. And so when we go down to 1 and 31, it says, and he is seeing Elohim, all of which he made, and behold, very good. I'm going to read the English. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning was the sixth day. And the baby agrees. So, I'm not teaching, I'm sharing, I'm reading, I'm sharing about how it is that we can study, if we haven't already, began to study a little bit more comprehensively so that we're not easily led astray. So the word here, he said it was not only good, he said it was very good. Or we would say tov me'od. That's why I circled there tov me'od. He made man, and inside of man was the masculine and feminine energy, which was what comprised of Adam. Some will say was humanity. I hope you're staying with me. Again, this is for the sisters, the DOZs, the daughter of Zion, to I know some of us are very astute, some of us are just coming, some of us are elders in this thing. And so it's just for us to each one help one, so that when we come together with our male counterparts and listen, we can be able to be who the Most High created us to be, as opposed to what is being projected on us that we should be. And so it says 31. Okay, so 31 says it was tov me'od. If we go over now to Genesis 2, so far the text has substantiated that Adam was humankind, and in humankind is the masculine and the feminine. The text also substantiates when speaking to Adam, the word is lechem, meaning to them. And so now we're over to 2 and 5. And I went there because it says, and the human, wo is and in Hebrew, if we don't know, and Adam. So, and the human, there was no one to serve of the ground. So it talks about the plants being planted, and that the Creator caused it to rain, but there was no one to till. So I took the liberty to look up the word till, and allow me to go over there right now. In the word till, the word is abad, means to work, by implication to serve. I know some people may be like, dang, she does all of that. Yes, I do all of this. Reason being, I don't want to go on my own understanding, and I want to see what the word actually says, because if we do know, English could be a little misleading. Sometimes it's on point and sometimes it's not. So humanity was created to serve. In this case, it's talking about to till the ground, to be a keeper, a groundskeeper of the creator's creation. It says there was nobody to till the ground. 22 and 7 says, and he is forming the Most High Elohim, the human soil from the ground, and he is blowing in nostrils of his breath of life, and he is becoming the human to soul living. I read how the Hebrew reads. The English reads, and the Most High Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground, breathed into his nostril the breath of life. The man became a living soul. Before this point, it shows you that man, both the masculine and the feminine, was in Adam at the same time in the creation, because we read in one that says male and female created he them. Both of them was in humankind, which is the Adam at this point. So when, according to the text, Adam becomes a living soul, both qualities is inside of the, how would you say, package. So now we see that he's become a living soul. And it says here 2 and 8, and he is planting the Most High Elohim garden in Eden from east, and he is placing the man whom he formed there. Now we can go all over, but I'm just reading as it's coming out. And surely, if anybody has anything to add, feel free to comment or whatever the case may be. But up until this point, Adam and Kawa, or who will later be known as Eve, is one in the same in one in the same. At that point, we see that it was still human or mankind at that point. So 2 and 15, we see here, if you see it up on your screen, it says, and he is taking The Most High Elohim, I keep saying the Most High, the human or Ha-Adam, and he is leaving him in the garden to la aboda, or to work her, because it says her, because other languages, Hebrew, English, French, they have masculine and feminine. If you remember your Spanish class, even you were able to conjugate verbs. Some verbs or some nouns are masculine and some are feminine. Hebrew is the same way. The earth is feminine. That's why a lot of people call it Mother Earth. Here in the text, the ground is classified as feminine. That's another topic, but for right here it says to serve of her and to keep it, to keep her. It says here, and he is instructing the Most High Elohim on the human, Ha-Adam, to say, from any of the tree of the garden to eat, you shall eat. That instructing is the word for command. Okay, sorry. We see here in 16 that he was commanded, and he was, but in the command was both the masculine and feminine, because up until this point, if we follow the text, they have not been split apart as yet. So both components were inside humanity or Ha-Adam. So when the instruction was given, and he is instructing the Most High Elohim on the human to say of him, from any of the tree of the garden to eat, you shall eat, and from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall not eat from him. And I thought it was interesting. That's why I circled that the at, which is knowledge, seems to be a masculine principle, because it called it a him. And in that day that you eat from him, to die you shall die. In the English says, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it, for in the day that you eat of it you shall surely die. So I circled the him because I realized that da'at, or knowledge, is a masculine principle, and the Adam or Ha-Adam, humanity, was not split apart. Both was still represented in it. So both got the command at this time, is what I'm receiving from the text. If I'm incorrect so far in what I'm receiving, please, it's a dialogue, well, as best as we can do over the computer. So, feel free to post or say whatever it is that you have to add. Respectfully, of course, because I'm doing it on respect and love. So please, let's be respectful of one another. So as we go down, it says, and he is saying, the Most High Elohim, it is Loto now. Remember, we just read at the end of 1 that it was told. It was told Me'od. If I'm not mistaken, it's not the end of 1. It was the end of when the Most High finished creating man. It was told Me'od. Now, in 2 and 18, some will say something happened, and then some will go into this whole illustrious story. I'm not going to go there right now. All I'm saying is that we see a change in the temperature, or in the vibration, as some will say, of the text. Before it was told Me'od. Let me go back here so that I don't want to misquote here. All right, yeah, it was in the end of 1 and 31, and he is seeing the Most High, all of which he had made, and behold, it was told Me'od. Very good. We jump down to 2. Some would say something happened, but it's no longer told Me'od. 2 and 18 says, and he is saying, the Most High Elohim is low told now. Not good. To be of the human, or Ha-Adam, to be alone of him. I shall make for him, and this is the part now that I want us DOZs to listen, because the English says a helpmeet, and it doesn't say much about what a helpmeet is. So that's what we'll hopefully we'll be able to bring out, according to the text, what a helpmeet is. But before we go there, after it was told that it was low told for him to be alone, I was like, well, why is he alone if it already said that male and female he made and he them? But according to what we have read, and I could be mistaken, but where I am understanding it now, Ha-Adam, the human, both masculine and feminine, was in this one, let's just say body, for lack of a better word. It was in this one entity. So I looked up the word alone, and the word alone is bad, if you can believe it or not. In Hebrew, it was funny to see that when I looked up alone, I get surprised a lot. The word alone in Hebrew is the bait and the dollar, and it actually is bad. And that's kind of wild. So what is properly separation, by implication, a part of the body, branch of a tree, bar from carrying. And you can go ahead and read on. So it says separation. So basically what we're reading is it's not good for man to be separated of him. I will make him somebody. And if you look, jump over to the left side of the page. If you're looking at this, it says, I shall make for him a helper as in front of him. I heard some of the brothers saying, oh, such and such and such, such and such and such. We understand what it has gotten to today, and we understand the different dynamics of the man and female. Maybe we don't. Hopefully we'll begin to learn. However, I'm looking at the Genesis story, and in the Genesis story it says Azer Kanibdo. And I remember when I first came across this, because of so many confrontational conversations, I'm like, what in the world is a helpmate? And it led me to begin to look into Hebrew, because the English was not bearing out the totality of it. And when I said Azer Kanibdo, what in the world is that? So I don't want this one to get too long, but I was really intrigued as to what in the world is a Azer Kanibdo, and what does that have to do with being a helpmate for him. So I took the liberty to look up alone that word in the context, and it's only used 3 times. And as you can see here, Psalms 102 and 7, Isaiah 14 and 31, and Hosea 8 and 9. And so, a lot of people say, well, I don't know what it means alone, but they gave also a root, and they said the root is mean to divide. So it's not good for him to be divided, which is strange, because if they were one in the same as the text is revealing in humankind, then how did they become divided? Not sure. Again, so a lot of people will have a lot of different understandings, but these are just me. Me personally. If I don't know right now, I just put a question mark. That's just me personally. Um. So it says it's not good for man to be divided at this point. How is he divided, or why is he divided, or what happened? The fact that the masculine and feminine energy is divided, not sure. For the purposes of this video, just for what it is that we're reading contextually. So the Creator said He's going to make a help me. The word here is Azer. When we look it up, we don't find nothing fancy. We just see aid or help. That's not anything fancy or telling us too much. But the next word that says for him, it doesn't really say for him. But before we go to that word, since you can do a check of how many times the word comes up and what context, because context is very important. Because if I say, I can't stand the heat in this kitchen, and you only take, I can't stand the heat, you just took what I said out of context, and then when you blast it all around, that would be error. So in this case, I look to see how the word help is used, or Isaiah. And what we find is that 21 times it is used. However, the majority of the time that it's used is talking about the Creator helping humanity. Let's just say, for instance, Psalms 33 and 20. Our soul wait for the Most High. He is our help and our shield. The word there is Isaiah. It says Psalm 70 and 5. But I am poor and needy. Make haste unto me, O Most High. You are my help and my deliverer. So this word help, and when we begin to see the context that the Most High, even Hosea 13 and 9, O Israel, thou hast destroyed thyself, but in me is thine help. And that is talking about the Creator. It's not a light word. It's only used 21 times. So what the Most High made for Adam was no pish posh. It was no, she was no, and she was already inside. Now he's going to manifest her, because the word here is kanibdo. So he's going to put her in front of him. Something that's manifested outside of him that he can see, that can help him balance. So let's go on to see if that's what the case is. The word nigdo, nig, and not the noon, the gimel, and the dalet means a front. That is part opposite, specifically a counterpart or a mate, over, against, or before. And ka is like or as in the Hebrew, and it's a prefix. So she's like or as in front of him. opposite, specifically a counterpart. This is all stuff that you can substantiate. It is not my own thoughts. I'm not hiding the book under my table and telling you to come beckon onto me. I'm asking that we beckon onto the Creator and just take a little extra time so that when we come and we're able to have this discussion, we're coming not from, I thought you said, and it's calling a little bit of more of a knowledge base that we can have these types of discussions with one another and prayerfully with our brothers as well. When I looked at the root, because a lot of Hebrew words have a root, and they were so gracious to tell us some of where the root is coming from. So I also look at the root. So we'll see here, Nagad is the root, and I actually circled so you can take a look. A lot of this stuff is in your Strongs as well as other lexicons. So the root is properly to front, that is, stand boldly out opposite, by implication to manifest. So the Most High manifested outside of him the feminine principle and put her in front of him to stand. So a lot of times, because it is that we don't want to elevate to where it is that we need to be, we crush that part, or we are the part that is being crushed down, so that it is because of a whole lot of reasons that, we can go on for days and days. But you can see it for yourself, you can read it for yourself, that it says here, in front, to stand boldly out opposite, figuratively to announce, always by word of mouth to one present, specifically to expose. A lot of say, women, your mouth is out of order, you're this and that. But a lot of the times, the qualities that may be out of order are qualities that were put in her, and because within her she's imbalanced, they're out of order. But them in themselves is part of what the Creator made. It says here specifically to expose, predict, explain, and praise. That means she's a double-edged sword. She can go both. She can go either way. She can be to expose you, or she can be to praise you. It depends on the man's behavior. Beware, certainly certified, declaring, denounce, expound, messenger, plainly profess, rehearse, report, show, speak. That's why she talks a lot, because that is part of her job. When she's dealing with the children, she has to have communication because she's the first teacher of that child. You understand? So, and she has to repeat herself constantly. So this is part of her. The man doesn't like it because that's another story. Let's just stick to the topic. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there, and I'll show you a little bit more about how I study when we pick up on Genesis 20. Because this may be running a bit long. So I'm gonna stop right there, and just to recap, we saw that the Most High, in the beginning, we saw that the Elohim created male and female, created he them, and it was told. And both of them were in the entity of Ha-Adam, or Adam, which was humanity. Outside of that, something transpired. It went from Tov Me'od to Lo Tov. Again, we have all these theories of what transpired. I'm just sticking to the text right now. And it says we get to 2 and it's Lo Tov. After it's Lo Tov, he seems to be alone. That means he's divided. Something happened. And we see that it was said in the text, I'm going to make you a helper as in front of him. Helpmeet for him is not an accurate translation. Isaiah Kanibdo is the accurate translation. And so you take an opportunity to read over it, take a look, and I'll share with you next time of going on of what I found out in Genesis 2. Well, praise be to the Most High, and you have a good day. Shalom, shalom.